Alright, so we're back in the world of No Rest for the Wicked, and today guys, I'm going to be showing you the build I've been using pretty much to progress through the game. A lot of you in the Discord, as well as a few of you in the video, in my previous video, asked me to show you a build that I'm using. I've been having a pretty good time going through it. I typically build towards defensive builds with good offense, and as you can probably tell looking at some of the footage in the background, we can do some pretty chunky offense while also being pretty defensive with the build. This is going to be a build that you can start using actually fairly early. It's a faith focused build, but really heavy focus on heavy armor, blocking, and just overall some solid physical damage that can just destroy enemies. If you're looking for a build that can deliver some pretty solid damage and keep you alive throughout the entire campaign, then this is going to be the build for you. Let me show you how to make this build. Alright, so now that you guys have a better understanding of how the build is and how it performs, I'm going to show you how to make the build in different parts. And then at the end of the video, I'll have just one of the fights go on, and then I'll have some footage playing right now. So yeah, let's go over the build. So starting this thing off, we're going to start off with the most important part, and that is the shield. For this build specifically, we're going to be focusing on blocking attacks and trying to get a little bit of a damage out of it. What we have right now is a kite shield, medium shield. You can go with a lighter shield if you're not at the point in the game where you can get a medium shield, but I would prefer like a medium shield, maybe not a heavy shield because they're a little too heavy. And what we rolled on this is damage taken decreased by 12% while blocking, and this will make it a little bit easier for you to deal with that damage that a lot of that goes through the block, so that's going to be really important. We also got damage increased by 11% for 6 seconds after a block. We're generally speaking always trying to block attacks that we can, unless they're like really big hits where we're going to be dodge rolling out of those, but for the most part, most attacks we're going to try to block to get the damage increase, and it's not really going to hurt us too much. And honestly, just being able to stop them from attacking, especially like the fast attacking ones, is more important in my opinion than actually like trying to dodge it and stuff, because they end up hitting you a lot more, and then the smaller enemies will get like staggered when they hit you. So that's kind of the idea. Anyway, don't want to over explain that. We got indestructible on this because indestructible goes really well with unrepairable, seeing that it can't be destroyed and it doesn't matter if it needs to be repaired. I think it's the best like negative positive combo that you can use in the game right now. There's argument for other things, but this one's pretty solid. You just kind of lose an affix, which is unfortunate. And then right now we're using item weight decreased by 10%. Generally speaking, you would want the one that reflects damage. I just didn't want to overinvest in the shield because obviously I'm level 20, about to the level 21, I'm about to get the next tier of gear, and I don't really want to necessarily invest into too many of my embers into it. The ember increase has been pretty nice. It's noticeable since the last patch, but yeah, I don't overinvest. Just get the block damage increase and the block damage taken reduction if you can, and the rest just kind of do what you can do. We put a emerald, I believe, in here, which has max stamina increase. You can kind of go with what you want defensively for this or weight reduction, but I went with a stamina gem. And for the most part, that's the most important piece of the gear. The rest is going to be kind of simple, but we'll go over it. Next, we have the climber's pick, and I really like this weapon because it is a faith focused weapon, and obviously this is a faith build. We'll go over that in a second with the stats. The reason why I like this weapon so much is because of fire throw. Whenever you throw when you get this weapon, you get fire throw built in, and this is a pretty solid skill. It just throws a really fast moving your weapon really fast, and it sets things on fire. It goes through them and then it comes back, and if you hit multiple enemies, you actually end up getting a good amount of focus back, and you can actually kind of do it a little bit frequently. And this one has a pretty low requirement. As you can see, it requires only strength, faith, so you're gonna have this built in initially. You can use this obviously if you get a higher like tier 1. This one's going to require more faith investment, more strength investment, but overall it's still pretty good. We put pulse of health in this as well, just to give us a little bit more sustain and more HP as a rune. And then we put illuminate because there's like some dark areas that you really need to have it in. Again, I didn't really put a gem in this one specifically because I'm hoping to upgrade once I hit level 21 or above. But this is going to be a really good one. As you can see in my inventory over here, I have a climber's pick. I always have them. They seem pretty frequent drops. You can use other weapons, but I found this one to be good. On this item specifically, in terms of enchantments that's of value, I like the normal attack damage increased by 11% for 4 seconds after a charged attack. This one's super conditional, but it's a condition that can be met pretty easy. And seeing that you're using a hammer that tends to have a good amount of stagger, it's kind of nice to like charge heavy and then go into a couple of hits because you just actually get a pretty sizable damage increase. It's very conditional, but still pretty solid. I like the setup, so it's really nice. For the rest of the pieces, we're pretty much building around heavier mesh, heavy plate type armor if we can. This is all going to be contingent upon your weight. But on our helmet, we got poise defense, stagger resistance, and item weight reduction, and we got a gem to reduce the weight of the item once again. It has really high poise and armor. That's kind of why we want it. For our chest, item weight reduction, stagger resistance, and stamina recovery increase by 18% based on your durability. There's other things you can use, but this is okay for the most part. For our gloves, we have damage taken decreased by 5% based on durability, which is good. And then we got physical damage increased by 13%. This is actually a pretty big one for the gloves. I'm pretty sure only gloves can roll that affix. Maybe weapons can, but this is a pretty solid affix in my opinion. Let me know if this can roll on other things, because that would be super sick if it can. But this is the only piece I've seen it roll on, so yeah. The physical damage is pretty good, and then we got stamina recovery increase based on your durability, and this helps us with stamina sustain. We got some points of stamina, but we don't want to overinvest points, and these two affixes are okay for the most part. For our legs, we have increased weight once again, movement speed after a kill is okay, and then more stagger resistance, because we just don't want to get knocked over, because that's death. We didn't put any gems in this one specifically because again we're going to be swapping, and gems for the chest was experience increase. I think that's really worth it in my opinion. And then for the rings, we're going to be using a feather ring, which is going to reduce the equipment load, and then we're using a stone tusk ring. I've been so unlucky with rings. I cannot get a third ring. I have the slot unlocked, but I just can't get a third ring. I had one that had like the worst downside in the world. But yeah, this is what we're using. Armor increase is super good, and then the equipment load is really nice overall. For our statisticals, we're using, we have 190 HP, 82 stamina, some good stamina regen for the most part. We have 534 armor, giving us 41% damage reduction, I guess, on Fizz. And then I don't even know what the affixes do. I mean, I don't know what the stats do. They don't really explain that. I'm assuming that means 41% DR on physical damage with enemies on level with me, but that's kind of speculation. We got Heat, Plague, all those resistances. We're probably going to get our reses up to like 50% and then try to get our Fizz to like 70-ish, and then we should be fine once we get to more of the end game. And then we have 27 poise, and we're not getting poised much at all, so it's been pretty nice. Really good equipment load. As you can see, I'm still floating 2 points because I'm not exactly sure what tier 3 or level 21 gear is going to offer. I'm kind of holding points, but what we have is 20 in health, 20 in stamina, 20 in strength. You kind of need it for shields. It's going to depend on the shield that you have, because I started with a strength-based shield. I kind of needed it, and now I think I'm using a faith shield right now. Is this faith? Is a faith shield. So in the future we may respec out of strength if we don't necessarily need to use it, but it depends, because we may get a weapon that needs it, but we'll see. Anyway, faith 20, and then we got 25 in equipment load. There's argument to be made in focus, which we may get a little bit of in the future. We'll see how the build kind of comes together in the end, but this is kind of how our stats are looking right now. We're pretty good, level 20, about to hit 21 soon, and yeah, pretty nice. Overall, that is pretty much it for the build. Not too much going on there. I will have some type of gameplay at the end, just kind of giving you guys an example of how the build performs against some of the bosses. Let me know down in the comments what kind of build you'd like to see in the future. I'm going to do this faith focused build, get it to the end game, and then maybe roll another character and try to make maybe like a major or something. Who knows? Either way, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to leave me a like, as well as subscribe for more No Rest for the Wicked content, and as well just most indie games, you know, upcoming new games. I cover pretty much everything. And yeah, make sure to support the channel. I'll see you guys in the next video very soon. Be safe, everyone.